Good morning, class. I thought I would make a video up to date on how to navigate your course and ALEKS. This is for my Chem 140 and my Chem 170 courses, especially for those people who missed yesterday's lecture. So yesterday we did go over the syllabus and ALEKS and we started chapter one. So I just want to make sure everybody's up to speed. I know some people are on Wednesday, and you do have the initial knowledge check and or prerequisite review. Those items are due by Friday, so those of you that enter late, you're going to have to pick it up a little bit and get it done before Friday. And again, if you enter late on Wednesday, it may not be that you have access to Blackboard till Thursday morning, so that makes the crunch time a little greater. So the first thing I want you to look at is you go to BCTC's website. You go to My Path, so I assume everybody can do that part, and click on Blackboard, and we'll look at your courses. Just click on courses there, and I'll choose. Let's see, have I done all of them? I'll choose this one just to see what happens. So this is a Chem 140 class, but all my classes are set up the same way. First thing you want to do is look at the announcements, and so there's a welcome announcement. If you click on that, it'll tell you what the objectives are. Things in red definitely mean these are things that need to be done. So this knowledge check has to be done by 11:59. This is for the Chem 140 class on Friday. And if you don't complete this, then I'm obligated to purge you from the class. It's a federal requirement. So make sure you get that completed this week. This one in black pretty much says midterm's the last day to withdraw. Some of your classes, or most of your classes, probably have you allow you to withdraw up until the last week of class. But this class, we have you withdraw at midterm. The advantage is that money, if you're on financial aid, goes back into the pool of financial aid money, so other people can receive financial aid for courses. And what I know as chemistry teacher for over 32 years, that if you don't get these first four chapters down in chemistry, you're generally not going to be successful the rest of the semester. So I think it's better at midterm make a decision, and then go on and focus on your other classes and pull those grades up. All right. So if you have any questions about this, just email me. There's my email address. Just type in brent.eldridge@kctcs.edu and email me. So the next thing is, oops, I actually checked out. You don't have to do that. You can always hit content up here. Next thing to do is read the start here, go through all of this, especially the syllabus. And on the syllabus, you just click on, you can download it. You might want to print off a copy, or you can just click on it and see a copy here in your computer, on your computer screen. There's one typo here. I've got to fix it. I'll fix it sometime the next day or two. But my office hours are Mondays and Wednesdays, 1 to 3:30, not Tuesday and Thursday. And it is fixed in other places. That's just a typo. If you need to book an office appointment with me through bookings, all you do is click on this. It's that easy. And yeah, there's a typo here. So these should be on Monday and Wednesday. I'll change that today. It's not a big deal, but I'll change the. But you just click on that, the time you want to meet. And for my online classes or in person, we can meet online if you want to. Just make sure that when you scroll down here, it says, do you want to meet in person or online? Make sure you make a choice there and then click book. So I encourage you to meet with me as soon as you're not understanding something. Make sure you meet with me. That's what I'm here for. That's why we have 5 office hours a week to help students and take advantage of them. I mean, I would definitely go with the professor versus a tutor. If that doesn't work out, those times don't work out, maybe you do have to use a tutor, but definitely schedule time with me. There's no judgment there. I just want to see where you are. We're going to find out what the weakness is, and then we'll address that in the office hour and hopefully get you up to speed. So it's important that you communicate with me, especially the online classes. I don't see you, The only way I know if you're having a problem is you email me. We set up an appointment, see what the problem is. So it's communication is super important, especially for the online classes. All right. So I'll change that date, but that's no big deal. Just read over the syllabus. If you ask me what students kind of get hung up on about the syllabus is make sure that if you're taking the class that you meet these technology requirements. And yes, you do have to use the TI-30X 2S calculator. And you say, well, I've got a nicer calculator. That's okay, but for this class and all of our chemistry classes, it's a departmental requirement everybody use the same calculator. And you say, why is that? Well, it makes the technology even for everyone. So we have an even playing field there. I'm post a video on how to use your calculator, and that's the only one I post. If you just totally don't have the calculator, at least you can do the homework, because I believe when you do the homework, there is an ALEKS calculator on the side of the homework problem, but it does take longer, and you're not going to have that ALEKS calculator on the exam. So that's why and you might as well get the TI-30X so you know how to use it fluently before the exam, because you don't want to be learning something about how to use a calculator or not know how to use the calculator when you're taking an exam. So just purchase calculators, $12. You know, it's a cup of coffee at Starbucks or something like that. So just be careful with that. I think the other thing, some people don't understand the attendance policy. So let me just say this: for online classes, what I look at is I look at how much time you're engaged in the class. When's the last time you engaged the class? It's in ALEKS. It's on Blackboard. So when you miss a week, I start thinking, oh, this person's dropping out of the class. They're not engaged. And so when you miss a week, it says attendance participation indicated by the completion of online materials. That's what I'm looking at, but I can also see when you're logged in. It says once you've not accessed ALEKS or Blackboard for more than a week, your last day of attendance will be the date prior to your failure of access. So if you have an excused absence for missing, you can email me that. If you miss an exam, make sure that you submit your excuse within a week of missing. After that, I don't look at those excuses, and you can't take up makeup exams. So make sure, and that's what it says here, but I found a student last semester that didn't seem like they understood that. But after, I have to have an excuse that I can verify that's valid. And once we get out past a week, it gets hard sometimes to verify that. So just make sure if you miss a special exam, you contact me immediately when you can upon your return, and you'll get an email from me confirming that you are set up for a makeup exam or you've been approved for a makeup exam. If you don't get that email from me, then we're not there and it's not happening. So make sure that you communicate with me what's going on. For in-person class, you'll come to class and you'll tell me you'll give me an excuse. Just I need a copy of that for the records, and then we'll come to the conclusion of taking a makeup exam. So again, attendance verification to make sure you don't get purged from this class at the end of the week is make sure that you do the initial knowledge check, and I'll show you what that looks like, and also do the prerequisite review. Let me just stress about the prerequisite review. You're not supposed to get 100% on that. It's just for you to take it cold, do as much as you can, and that'll tell me what percentage, like where you are in the class and what you're going. And it helps ALEKS because it's adaptive learning, determine what kind of questions they need to give you to get up to speed, so that you're progressing in the class. So for my Chem 140 and a lot of my Chem 170, that prerequisite check is going to be mostly a math test to see can you do math and can you enter the answers incorrectly on ALEKS. So that's what it's a lot, but you shouldn't get 100%. If you got 100% on the prerequisite review, you're in the wrong class, because that means you really mastered all the techniques that we're going to be presenting this semester. So don't game it, just go through it. I agree, you might want to look at your book for a constant. Like if you forgot Avogadro's number, it's needed for a problem. Yeah, you can look that up, but don't look for the answers or how you solve them. That's not what it's all about. It does take over 2 hours to do the prerequisite review, so you need to start on it now, so you're not trying to cram it all in on Friday. You can look over this is for again an online class, so they have a different. They have proctored exams just like in person's proctored, but they have different requirements. We use a Respondus proctoring software. Here are the requirements for the proctoring software. So please read over that. Your grades, you can read over how you're graded. Makeup work, a lot of people get a little confused about this. Pretty much what it is, there is no makeup work. Uh, Modules are open for multiple days, so if you for some reason have to work on the day it's due and you never did get to it, that's going to be a 0. So that's why you got to work each day on the makeup, on the modules. Do not cram that all in. If you do that, you're not really learning, you're just trying to get through it, and it's going to show up on the exams. So a little each day, and that way if you do get sick or something, maybe you miss a portion of a module, you're not missing the whole module. But regardless, I have a no excuse policy. That's what I call it. I've had this for, I don't know, more than 2 decades. It works. What it does is it says, I don't want to be solemn and trying to figure out which excuse is valid, which one's not. Could be you had to go to work, maybe your electricity's out, maybe your computer's down or broken, maybe you're out of town. I don't know, but I don't want to get into that. So I just say you get to drop your 2 lowest modules at the end of the semester. Whatever your 2 lowest module grades are at the end of the semester, that's what we drop. You say, well, I was sick, I was in the hospital. Well, if you're missing 2 modules, you're missing probably about 3 weeks or class or more. So, it's probably taking you out of the class anyway. So this is what we've done even through COVID. It works. Don't just think, oh, I want to get a 0 though on one. Try not to use them, because you never know when something is going to come up, and you'll be glad that you have a module that you can drop at the end. Again, withdrawal, just make sure, there's a typo there. It's not Monday, October 14th. It's March 9th. So there's another typo. You go through this material over and over, and it is a lot of copy and paste, but I usually try to catch those. That's a bad one. The main thing here too, I'd print the calendar off. Have it in front of you, see what's due. We pretty much stick with the calendar. If we don't, I'll let you know in a Blackboard announcement. Say we didn't get quite through with this chapter. I kind of use my in-person courses to gauge where we are online as well. So, and you can see the due dates, chapter 1 module. So once you get the prerequisite review done, the chapter 1 module should pop open. So if you finish that this Wednesday, then you're going to have more time working on the prerequisite on the chapter 1 module, which is due on January 27th. So just work with those. Look over the calendar, see if you can handle the time and the commitment and so forth. I try to make it easy for you. I think the number one thing about this class, both classes, is reading. You have to read the book. I can't stress it enough. I know some classes you don't have to read. You can get through the class without reading. Chemistry, you have to read it. And you have to read it 3 to 5 times. And that sounds like a lot, but it is what it takes. The first time you don't really know what they're talking about. You're just kind of getting a structure of the chapter. And then the second time you go, oh yeah, I see how this section goes with this. And third time you're starting to write your notes and kind of put it all together, and you're starting to solve the problems and the examples. And, and then it takes another few times to get it really down. And in my Chem 140 book, it talks about how to study for chemistry, and it says repetition is the key. And the example I used in class the other day is when I hold up a red pen, everybody knows it's red. It's automatic. It's because of repetition. It changes your brain chemistry. So I try to make it like about 16 pages. I think you can read 16 pages because there's a lot of pictures in those pages too. And so you could read that 2 or 3 times before you even come to class on Wednesday. So if you haven't read any of this, 1 through 29, just start reading that, taking your notes, and then if you got questions, you can either email me or you can ask me in class tomorrow. I always ask in my in-person classes, do you have any questions about the material? So that gives me an idea of what to focus on. And if nobody says anything, then that's go in a pure lecture mode. So it's best to ask questions so I know what you're not understanding, and I can bring that up in the lecture if we don't do a problem immediately. The other thing I always say is Chem 170, if this first chapter seems difficult to you, you're in the wrong class. You need to take Chem 140. Chem 140 is like junior college or junior high school chemistry, and doesn't move at the pace that 170 does. So 170, we're driven by the content, and I have to cover the content for everybody to be ready for 180. 140 has content too, but it's at a slower pace. It's less content than 170. So if you feel like you can't do chapter 1 in this class and Chem 170, then you probably ought to take Chem 140. And you can do that. You can drop and add the other one by Wednesday. After this Wednesday, though, I don't have late registration, so you have to make a decision by tomorrow. This is Tuesday today. All right, so look over that. If you got any questions, just email me. I have had questions about, can I use a different calculator? No, it's a departmental requirement. You're going to have to show your calculator when you take an exam online. There's a vetting procedure that you show your ID and your calculator, 2 pieces of scratch paper, and all that's recorded. So don't think you can get around that. So just go ahead and buy the calculator. All right. So then you can read all these other ones. Let me just say this. You have any problems with ALEKS, I really can't help you that much. So you click academic resources. First thing I'm going to tell you to do is click this troubleshooting app. You should get all green checks. If you don't, then there's something wrong with your computer. It's not compatible and it needs to be fixed. Maybe it's a plug-in or something like that. And then you can always contact technical support with ALEKS. You click on that, it pops up, and you click technical support. I would say either call them or do a video chat to get a quicker response. You can email them, but you should contact them. You can even go down here and click the texting. But you should do that because it documents the problem, and ALEKS will tell me, is it their problem or is it your problem? If it's your problem on your computer, that's not a systematic error. That's not an excused error. It's only when it's a systematic error through Blackboard or ALEKS that I start looking at it. Maybe we need an extension, and that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because if ALEKS isn't working correctly and Blackboard's not working correctly, then we'd get rid of those things because they'd be such an aggravation. So I will tell you, most of the time it is something with your personal computer or your network, but you should contact ALEKS. They maybe can help you, and it also documents that you've tried this, and ALEKS will, and then if it is an ALEKS problem, they will definitely contact me and say, well, yeah, we've had a problem here. It's happened once in maybe two years or 3, something like that. So it's under academic resources. It's also under technology assistance. All right. If you do need an accommodation, make sure you start that process now. Don't wait till after the first test. Do it now so I can put in the program to give you extended time or something like that's usually what happens. So just make sure that you do that today. Don't wait till the first test. So we're in chapter 1. Both these are called learning units, whether it's Chem 140. This is Chem 140 again. This is not Chem 170. But it tells you what Chem 140 is about, what we're doing in that unit. There's usually an overview. There may be demonstrate competencies. That's what, if you want a study guide for the exam, you click on that, and it's going to tell you what you're supposed to get out of these 2 chapters. If you can answer all these questions without referring to the book, you should be in pretty good. That and the odd problems, doing the odd problems in the back of the chapter, you're probably in pretty good shape for the exam. And then the PowerPoints are there. So I tell students yesterday that, click on the PowerPoint. You can download it. There's the download key here. You can use these as notes. A lot of people take these into class and then they write their notes on this while I'm lecturing. So it's and it tells you here how to study. And like they say, in the end here, it's about repetition. Where is it? Right there. In learning, repetition is required for long-term retention of facts. I can't stress that enough. That's why I'm saying you're going to read this 2 or 3 times, or 5, 3 to 5. Yeah. All right. Repetition. Can't stress it enough. All right. So that's the PowerPoints. You have those. Let's talk about ALEKS. So you click ALEKS here. That takes you over to the McGraw-Hill product. And I will put this in student mode just to show you what this looks like. We can do that. We'll just go into student mode. All right. Yours will be in student mode, but so we'll show you what it looks like here. All right. I chose one that, well, I've already done the little ALEKS tutorial that became before this. This is the initial knowledge check. This is to see how much you know, and it's going to ask you to do these answer questions here. Don't skip the knowledge check. You need to submit this. Over here, you have a periodic table. Make sure you use the ALEKS periodic table if that's required for the problem, because their periodic table, these values are different than they are on the main periodic table. Like when you click on sodium, their atomic mass may be different than the atomic mass that's on our periodic table in the room, because this is a more modern one. It's more up to date than the one. Electronegativities are going to be used. So these two numbers can be different, and if you use a different periodic table, ALEKS may say your answer is wrong. Even though you calculated correctly, it's just that you're using the wrong data. So make sure you use their periodic table. They also have data here. So like if you're doing this prerequisite review, it's fair game to come over here and look at these, this data. Like maybe you forget your SI prefixes, you can click on that and you'll have that available. But you do need to memorize some of these, and we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. I think you need to memorize pico at 10 to the negative 12 up to mega. You don't need, mega. I'm not so much about giga, but kilo, yeah. So we'll talk about that coming up. Put your answer in here, and then submit and go on to the next problem. And this, again, it's going to take you about 2.5 hours to do this, but it's going to give you a good detailed report as to what you know and what you don't know coming into the class. So that initial knowledge check, once that's completed, that's what they call the prerequisite review. And so and let me just show you what that looks like. I'll go back to my mode and I'll look at assignments, and we look at assignments here. So initial knowledge check, prerequisite review, that gives you that part. Notice it is 33 topics, 2 hours for that. So that's both classes. That's what you need to do. And then once you do that, this will open up, and it is due 6 p.m. on the 27th. So you have time. You'll have time. We'll finish chapter 1. For Chem 170, we finish it, I think, tomorrow or no later than next Wednesday. And for 140, it's a little longer because, again, it's a slower paced class than 170. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, make sure you email me. Communication's key. And if you're in my class in person, just ask me in class tomorrow. But we want to make sure that that's not what's causing you not to be successful in the class. All right. I hope that helps. And again, just keep communicating. Thanks.